Hi loves, it's Crystal Marie again. Welcome back to my channel. It is day 7 of Vlogmas, and I want to share with you my first sketchbook completion from January to May of 2022. So this is a Jane Davenport 9 by 12 sketchbook, and I drew and collaged the front. That's the Baby Yoda, and then that's the a teddy bear there, and then I did some collaging in the back. Painted the spine pink, and then of course my signature, and then the dates that I used the sketchbook, and then on the back it's just a little collage of my brush strokes, and I used of course pink and yellow and blue, which I was really into adding blue to my pinks this past year, and then a little bit of like goldish gouache. So that's the cover. And then you open it, and the first thing is a little collage, like a mixed media collage of Sarah Blakely from Spanx. There was I think it was Success magazine she was in, so I kind of cut that out and then collaged some of her story and the word billionaire and some other things here, and used some different washi tape and stickers that I have. And then I painted the background. So it gave it like this mixed media look. And that was just how I wanted to start the year, with some inspiration. And then I sort of did this futuristic, I think this is a combination of, this was watercolor, I think mostly, and watercolor pencils. So I wanted to experiment with those and then do like this little futuristic looking um, artwork. And so I like how this turned out. And then this was in celebration of January 13th. And so I wanted to, of course, put the Delta symbol there and then do something in the background. And I was going to write on it, but then I was using, what was I experimenting with this? I think I was using pastels for this. And so the pastels kind of rubbed off. So I didn't write like I was going to, but this is that spread. And then this was the spread when Ketanji Brown Jackson won the seat for the Supreme Court. So I did a little spread here for her. And so this is her. And then here, oh, and then this is, I believe this is mostly, this is gouache, a little bit of watercolor. I think this is watercolor in the back. Then for this spread, I had a reference image that I forgot, because I usually will print those out and put them here, but I had a reference image, and I was just wanting to be like loosely doing the watercolor and a little bit more abstract. This came out okay. It wasn't like what I imagined it to be, but it was a fun experiment trying to just get back to my artwork. And then this spread was, I did some stamps here. I love this stamp. It's like an old style camera. And then I also have a stamp that has writing. So I did that after I painted this pink, and this is watercolor. This is mostly watercolor here with, I believe I did use some of my markers to like color in the eyes and things like that. And then this is washi tape, simply gilded washi tape for the shirt. So I just wanted to kind of experiment with doing something different color hair, etc. And then this is the start of Sketchbook Revival 22, which helped me with just getting back into my art practice. And if you're not familiar, Sketchbook Revival, I can't remember the lady that hosts it every year, but basically she brings together a whole bunch of artists that teach you different ways to fill up your sketchbook and look at art in different ways, and kind of just stop being so critical on your artwork and getting your art into your sketchbook. So this was day 1 with Courtney Cerruti. And basically she had us like, I think we had to blind draw these. You had to blind draw an object or something. And and so basically blind drawing means you're not looking at your pen or pencil or whatever you're using. You're just looking at the object and drawing it. So I think I did pretty good. These were the Simply Gilded rabbits that we got. And I also did a blind drawing of this oil that I had on my desk. And then she also was talking about like the color wheel and just using different colors that you might not expect, and all of that good stuff. And then this one was basically where I used watercolor, and you just kind of dab the watercolor on the paper, and then you create something out of it. So there's a lot of like flowers and people here, and I did a lot of different faces, but you basically just let go of your art. This was day 1, part 2. So there were like 2 videos per day that you could do, and I did all of them because I wanted to finish all of them, and you had to finish them in a certain amount of time. I want to say it was like a month or so, maybe a little over a month, because she extended the time. But yeah, I basically did 2 a day, and this is how I started my day with art. This is by Carla Sondheim, and these are Zoom drawings. So basically, when you're on those Zoom calls that we have all been on for the last quite a few years, you can draw the person that you're Zooming with. And she was real specific about making sure that you kind of just loosely do it. It's not like perfection or anything like that, but I actually like how this turned out. And then for day 2, these are Artpreneur affirmations with Miriam Schulman. And I love this. I put God has your back, and then I have various flowers. And then I believe this is all watercolor mostly. And this side is a little bit of watercolor, and then watercolor pencils that I actually didn't add the water to, so they stayed kind of color pencil-like. This is day 2, part 2, how to loosen up your sketchbooks with Lucia Layfield. And this is kind of similar to the blind drawing, except for it was like time drawing. So part of it you had to do from memory, like what you remembered, and then part of it you could look at. And so I was drawing this cup that I had, and I had a spoon in the cup at the time. I think it's probably my tea or something, I'm not sure. And then I went back and colored, because I like to have color in my sketchbook. I went back and colored these 2. And then this one is day 3, Mixed Media Floral Studio with Joy Ting. And this is my reference folder. This is so big, I don't know if I could, but this is my reference photo. And then basically you start here with a fast sketch. And then here it shows the color palette that I'm going to use. And then you do it again. And then here's the result of that. And it's kind of like a really loose thing. You're not going for perfection. You're just kind of letting your art live. And then here, I believe, is the blown out version of that. And then here I jumped in and just did one that was not part of Sketchbook Revival. I just wanted to try this abstract kind of thing. And there was a reference for this, and I didn't put it in here. But yeah, I like how that turned out. And then this was day 3, part 2 with Tamara Laporte. And I actually love her style. It's just like fun and whimsical and all of that. And then on this side, I put some Bible verses, Mark 11:24, Exodus 14:14, and Ecclesiastes 11:2 in the collage here. And then this one was a fun one as well. You use like tissue paper, and I believe this is gouache. The tissue paper, I glued it down with Mod Podge, and then I wrote on it, this too shall pass, and then greater is he that is in me. And this was day 4, messy recipes. So I really loved how that came out. A little bit of collage paper, like I said, and just very simple. Day 4, part 2 on this side. This is the reference photo, and then this is the loose drawing based on the reference photo. And you're really just supposed to draw, not not necessarily the specifics of the photo, but the gist of the photo. And so that's this, and that's why it's very, very loose. And then I was using some Winsor Newton watercolors that I had just gotten. So that day was with Suhita Shirodkar. And then day 5, How to Sketch a Bird with Shari Blackhop. This was the reference photo, and then this is the bird. It was a royal tern, so I think I did pretty good with that one. I wasn't too mad about it. I mean, it's art. You're supposed to be really free with your critique on your own art, I think, because you're just supposed to get it out. But I think some of us have this thing in our head that art has to be perfect, and it has to be beautiful, and it is beautiful, no matter how it comes out. So this was Sketchbook Revival Day 5, Part 2 with Tiffany Sharp, and it was like water collage fodder. So we made these little mushrooms, and I actually really liked this. So I looked up fodder school, and like it opened up a whole new world. So in 2023, I want to do more artwork with this kind of style. And I used this Dutch and Deckle ribbon that I got from not PlannerCon, I'm sorry, Go Wild, from somebody who was sitting at my table, and then some background papers that I got from California Art Supply back in the day, and I think Flax Art and Design as well. When I collect papers, and I keep them for a long time, and then I used some Cookie Sticker Co. washi here and here and up there to make sure the paper stayed stuck to the page. Sketchbook Revival Day 6 with Charlie O'Shields, Create Like a Kid Again. So basically with this one, you just like let your watercolor and the water dictate what it was going to look like. And then once it dried, you came back in and saw like what shapes did you see. And as you can see, like that, I think that's an octopus, and I put some pretty eyes on her and just random like little cute monsters. That's what I was seeing. So that's what I went back in and drawn. And then there's like a lady here. You know that lady from The Fifth Element, the one that's that one. Well, that's what I saw there. So that's kind of the reference for this. Yeah, so you just kind of let your imagination run wild. And that was the whole point of that one. And then here, let me take this off because this was to protect some of it here. And then here is Tell Me About My Dreaming Child. This was Day 6, Part 2 with Rakeft Hadar. And so it was basically like collaging. I forgot her inspiration artist, but it's basically like collaging papers. So I used some papers from what book is that called? The Flow for Paper Lovers book. The Flow for Paper Lovers book is awesome, awesome, awesome. They used to come out with it all the time, and it was like this thick. I've done some flip throughs on my channel of the paper books, but they stopped sending them to the US, and they only make the I can't remember if it's a German or Swedish version, but they only make the version in their language now. And so that's so disappointing, but I still have some of those papers. So I was using that. And then of course behind is watercolor, and then my permanent pens to call out the names of the Lord. And then here was Day 7, Collage the Street with Karen Stamper. And I'm okay with how this came out. It came out nothing like what I think it was supposed to. But like I said, that's art, and sometimes it can be hit or miss, but it's still beautiful. So we'll just leave that there. Day 7, Part 2 was the Water Lily Pond, an abstract landscape with Renee Mueller. And I love, love, love how this came out. Loved it. This was, did I use gouache for this? I think I used some gouache and a little bit of watercolor. And I may have went back in with watercolor color pencils. So I was really proud of this one. And then we have This is day 8, Confidence Through Creative Journaling with Lakeisha Hall. And I love this. So this is basically her journaling style where she starts with the affirmation, the scripture, a quote, gratitude, and what to ponder. And so I loved how that came out. And this is day 8, alphabet pocket. So we basically made an like origami pocket here. And then here it's just random writing. I can't remember what we were. Oh, I was writing, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And you write that over and over and over again. And basically you do that here and it folds out into a book. And you could have done this anyway. So it didn't have to be like the writing, or it could have been drawing or whatever, but this is what I chose. So I loved this too. And then here is Sketchbook Revival Day 9. This is 1, 2, 3, Let's Draw Cats with Estee McLeod. And I like this too. Basically, you put the blob on the paper and then you kind of, draw the cats around it. So no. This was the one where it's like you started with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you started with the letter and then you had to turn it into a cat. This is what this one was. And so that was a fun experiment. You can see this is the 5. And so that was the 5. So I did him sideways. And then the 6 was his nose. And I think the 7 was the nose and the mouth here too. So it's fun. And then the 8, I think here was the eyes. And no, wait, where am I? 3, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, the 8 here was the eyes. This was the 7, which I think was the nose. 6, 5. This is the 4, which I also still think was the nose. Yeah, I think it was the nose here. And then the 9, I want to say was the eyes. But yeah, so you basically turn the numbers into a cat. This one was a fun one too and turned out way better than I thought it was. This was drawing dynamic dancers with ink and watercolor, and this is with Barbara Bowman. And I love. So we started out with, she teaches you how she's wants you to do it, and then you do your first run, and even my first run, I was like, yeah, get it. And then my second one here, and so I loved it. And then you go back with this one and put the color into it. It was great. This was a fun experiment. And there was a reference photo for this one, and I didn't put it in there. And then this was day 10, watercolor warm-ups, gathering color and pattern and inspiration with Faith Evans Sills. And here's the reference photo, because you're basically just taking the patterns out of this and seeing what you can find. So these were all of the patterns that I saw. This pattern references some things over here and some things over there. And then you've got this green that references kind of this area. And this is, this part. And then you've got these leaves referencing here. And then I saw some things here and also here. So you're picking out the patterns and kind of putting them on the paper. Loved that experiment as well. It's one of my favorites. Now this was one of my favorites too. This was Mindful Practice, create a mixed media art journal page with Tanya Ahmed. I loved this style. Like, this is really my style as well. So this is Zendaya. I had a magazine with her in it. And then I had some Teresa Collins little quotes and things here. So I put that here. And then I used some gouache in the background, some stamps that I had, the same stamps that I showed you guys before on a page. And then, just put some text, like my handwritten text around it. I love this page. Love the style. And then this was day 11, From Blobs to Birds. Again, and this was with Terry Runyon. And same kind of thing. You just like blob on the page and you turn them into to birds, or you put a couple blobs on the page and turn them into birds. And so I have some birds, and I also have some cats here. These are cats, and I think this might be a dog, but and then we have the birds over here, and then another cat. So this was just a fun practice, again, to loosen up your brush and kind of have fun with what you're doing. I love this page as well, the simplicity of it. And this was Matisse on My Mind by with Mo Saha. And so this style is kind of like the Matisse style, and that's the collage. Oh, I just hit my camera. And then I put There's Beauty in Things You Cannot See. And then the real simple background with the paint splatters really excites me. So I love that. Loved it. And then we have on this side is Day 12, Watercolor Flower with Chris Keys. And I love this. So she kind of told you how to do this. I think one of them was without sketching it first and just doing it with, this might have been the one, because I think this came out really pretty. So I think one of these I sketched first and then put the color over it. And then this, she showed you how to use your brush to get the shape without sketching it. And I think that just came out, this one especially came out beautiful. And I think this one too. This one could have used some work, but again. And then we have the Gold and Graphite Reverie with Ida Anderson Lang. And I loved how this came out. Obviously, this is all pencil. And then I had some gold, it was watercolor, actually. Yeah, it was a watercolor. It was like metallic watercolor that I got from a Japanese store in California that I still had. And so I colored her eyes and her lips gold, and just like some of the accents in her afro, and put a crown on her. And then these were supposed to be like leaves in the background and some hearts flowing around. So I love how that came. And then this is the Art of Zentangle with Melinda Barlow. And so this was a fun experiment too, making the patterns and the shapes here. And then Sketchbook Revival. This was the visual journaling to slow down and go within. This was day 13, and this is with Shub. And Shub, excuse me, sorry. And Shub, this was amazing. This was amazing. This is another one. I had so much fun. And she actually, so each artist had something else that you can either buy into or get for free. Like they had maybe another free class of their own. And so Shub actually had a 7-day course that you could take that was slowing down and going within. So I did more of her class, and that might be in this one or in another sketchbook. And I will show you guys that if it's in another one. I'll show you in another video. But if it's in this one, then I'll point it out. But I loved this. I loved it. My goodness, I loved how this came out. She basically gave you the prompts, and then you had to draw them. Yeah, so this was just great. I loved it. And then this one, let me take this out so we can see it, was basically pattern designs with Vidi Sachit. And I love this one as well. This was a really fun one to do. So this is like, I did a whole page pattern here, just random stuff, like doesn't have to make sense. And then I did another one with a background here. And then my white, I think these were Posca pins that I used on top of it. So that was a fun experiment. This was another one of my faves. Yes, the collage travel journaling. I love this. You guys know I creative journal, or if you don't know, if you're new here, I do creative journaling, and I do it similar to this. So I love this style where you can use stickers and basically whatever you want to use to make the spread. And this one was with Abby C. I also started following her, and I'm on her newsletter list, which you could sign off. Like I said, all the artists had something that you could get into if you really resonated with their art. And so I did, but I loved this one. And I believe this washi tape here was from Villa Beautiful. And then I used some travel stickers that I had got. And this paper is from Teresa Collins. I bought her travel pack paper. And then I love, love, love these stickers here. And where did I get those stickers? I think it was like a random, might have been Hobby Lobby or Joann's or something, but I love these stickers, and I love the washi tape. And then this is also from Teresa Collins, this background paper here, and it has a whole bunch of cities and places that you can go. So I love this spread. This is another one of my favorites. Is this this might be the last spread. Yeah, this is the celebration spread. And let's see who, Sketchbook Revival. So this celebration spread was, you were supposed to go back and like do a combination of the spreads that, or the artwork that you had done previously. So I did like the fodder again, which I loved, this background. And then I wrote out how I was blessed to have found this class because it was free. And you guys, as an artist, as a designer, as a business person, like I know the value of what the people, the artists and everything that came together and offered this work. I know how much this is really, really worth. So I was like, this is just a blessing that I was able to find this art class. It was free. It was like 30 sessions or something like that because there were 2 per day that you could, or they dropped 2 per day that you can do. And so I wanted to finish them all. So this is the celebration class, and this is the whimsy like doodle thing. It was a great class. It really got me back to my art and, you know, just connecting on paper and not just digitally, because if you guys didn't know, I have a master's in graphic design, and I am definitely better on the computer, but there was a time where I was better on paper and I could really illustrate. And then I stopped practicing, of course, and then that's what happens. You kind of lose. I mean, you don't lose it all the way, but you lose the progress that you could have made. And so getting back to it this year has just been great for me. So this was a great, great session. And then this, I believe I did for Easter. So it wasn't related to Sketchbook Revival. Now we're just in some of my experimentation. So I did this sketch here, and all I did was just use washi to make the cross and then paint around it and then rip the washi off, and it kept the cross white. And then wrote out Matthew 28, 5 and 6. So that was that. And then this was April 17th. I did some more, I told you guys I love this style, so I did some more mixed media with my white Posca pens, my paint, my gouache, and my watercolor. And the same thing here. Basically, this kind of started because I was wiping the paint off of my brush and the those little package bubbles that you get. You can like put paint on those, put them down, and they make the little circles. So I was like wiping this off. This is like my white page, and then I just did, said something, create daily, and then that became art. See how easy it is? And I was, like I said, I got obsessed with this style. And then I did some darker colors. I used some gouache, and I love how this turned out as well. There's a lot of, because this again. So then I was making some abstract faces here. Somebody was, one of my friends saw it and she said, "Oh, this looks scary," but it was fun to me. And then I used the Teresa Collins stickers here for sayings. And then I was practicing my perspective because I need to get back on that. So there's a book that I have, and it takes you through like going back through perspective. So this was me building a perspective city again. It's finished because it's finished, but I could have colored this all in, but I didn't. This is going back to that style I got obsessed with and am still obsessed with. And then this was what I told you guys. So Shub did the 7 days of slowing down with Shub. And I, of course, I signed up, and I'm like, let's go, because I loved that prompt during the Sketchbook revival. I believe they're doing Sketchbook revival again. And I want to say it started around March or something, but I will keep you guys posted. And this was a blind contour. Okay, I don't like this, but it's basically you can't look. So you're just drawing yourself, thinking, and that came out real crazy. But that was a fun experiment. Creating with watercolor, and then you write around it, because part of it is the journaling. And so this is my reference photo. This is here. Oh, and then I was drawing what I ate, because I went to my birthday dinner at Jack Spice, and so we had Indian food. I was getting into NFTs and Bitcoin and things like that, so I wrote about that. And then full figure, we were supposed to draw ourselves or something like that, so I did that. And then this is my hand, and what your hands enable you to do. And then this is like a magazine, so I Am. And I put fearfully and wonderfully made, God's workmanship, a virtuous woman. And then I put this envelope in here so that I could stick that in there easily. But that's the I Am zine. And then was this Shub? Yeah, this is 7 days of slowing down with Shub. So this continues that. And I think this was like what you had to do that day or something like that. And then this may have been, I think this is where it stops. And then this is me experimenting again. This was from the, was that the St. John's catalog? This might have been the St. John's catalog. And then I just put some stuff around it to have a little fun. This was with Tamara Laporte, because she has a YouTube channel where she shows you how to make like this owl in her style and this bird and just, all kind of different things that you can make. But I was obsessed with this style too, and I still am. So yeah, it's Tamara Laporte's YouTube, May 2nd. And then this was, it's not my ending page. This was just something I was experimenting with. Like I said, when you have like paint you need to get off, of your tools, you just do that. And then I went in and drew a face. And then this was another like multimedia experimentation, me calling out to the Lord, me knowing that he will provide, and just putting that in my art. And this is another one. This is definitely like you can tell I'm feeling this, and this just really brings out something in me. I was using some of my stencils that I got here, and just some stuff that I cut out, and just letting my art live. And then I always do like a finished fin, and January to May, Fun, Love, More, Growing and Healing. This was 84 pages. And then what I experimented with, like what mediums I experimented with, and like what was in here. And this is the Jane Davenport thing again. And that's the end. So I will see you guys at day 8 of Vlogmas. Hopefully, if you love this, definitely give it a thumbs up, share. I'm going to share some more of my sketchbooks, because I finished actually quite a few this year. Love you. Bye.